I'm at a very medieval time in my life right now. Recently, over the last couple months, my boyfriend and I have been consuming a lot of fantasy media like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and in turn, of course, the fantasy media has been consuming my creative brain, and it's all I've been able to think about since like December of last year. So much so that it inspired me to actually use my sketchbook that I bought like 6 years ago, and I ended up making an entire collection inspired by 70s and early 2000s medieval slash Renaissance revival. So I thought it would be fun to do a little series where I bring to life all the drawings that I came up with. We're going to start with this beautiful girl here, kind of. We're going to do a slight different variation of the one in the photo, but we will end up making both. I started off with some fabric that I ordered online. I think I ordered from Kiki Textiles and Fashion Fabrics LLC. And then I went in, as I always do, and made my own pattern from scratch, kind of winging it as I go, but I did have a good idea. This one was a little hard because the fabric was moving around a lot. Velvet is very slinky. But I went in and I did both dresses at the same time. This took me 2 hours, so it took me about an hour per dress to cut out and to get all the pieces. I think there were about maybe 8 pieces per dress. I don't remember. But here's me cutting out the front of the dress, and then also a low-key soft launch of my new tattoo coming up here in a second. Love her bad. Can't wait to post pics of that. Now we're working on the sleeves. The sleeves took me about an hour each to do because I had to go in and bunch all of it. Then I sewed it with my regular machine first to make sure that like the bunching stayed in place. And then afterwards I went back through again and serged all of it together. After base stitching the sleeves together, I went in and hemmed both the ends of the sleeves, and then I added elastic right above the hem so that it can create that really cute, like bunchy, puffy sleeve vibe that we're going for. Once the vision started visioning and the sleeves were looking really good, I went in and serged all the important seams. I find it easier that I attach the sleeves first, like in the shoulder area, and then I go back through and I pin the entire side and just create one serge from the bottom of the dress all the way through the sleeve. I also find that it looks a lot cleaner and it doesn't take as long, so, love that. This pleating means everything to me, but it took me so long to do. I think I pleated maybe 3 feet worth of the bottom of that dress, and then I went in and I added 3 stitches all the way through. So one to hold the top, one to hold the middle, and then one to hold the bottom where the hem was at, because I really wanted to make sure that that pleating looked right. I kind of hate when pleating separates. I think it looks ridiculous. But now we're starting to have a dress looking good. So I'm going in and adding all of the gold trim. I was very iffy on whether or not I wanted it to show, if I wanted to tuck it away. And I'm actually really glad that I had it show. I just feel like it adds a lot of texture to the dress and kind of leans into the fantasy vibe that I was going for. Then I went through and hand stitched all of that trim, basically all like where you see it, because of the beads on the side. It really made it hard for my sewing machine and my presser foot to like get to the yellow woven part of the trim. So I was just like, you know what, fuck it, like we'll just go in and do it ourselves. This is me making sure that the bust lines up right. The bust here looks a little different than the ending result, and that was because I was playing around with stitching a little bit, and for what I was going for, I definitely would have needed like the really thin elastic. I don't have any of that right now, so I just went with, the classic milkmaid moment. Altogether, this took me 12 hours. Yes, 12 hours to complete between all the pleating and the bunching and adding different colored panels. This took me 12 hours, but you know what? It was totally worth it. I wore it for Valentine's Day, and it was so cute. So stay in tune for part 2 when I make her sister. I'm at a very medieval time in my life right now. In part 1, we tackled this mini dress that I wore on Valentine's Day. I did get maybe 3 people that asked me how I made the headpiece that I wore that day. So we're going to do a quick rundown on how I did that. We're going to call this part 1.5. I started off by measuring my head with my hair because my hair's a little bit bigger and it came out to about 22 inches. I bought this mannequin head at my local beauty supply and I bought the gold trim off of Amazon. I glued the pieces down as if the headpiece was inside out. That way I could flip it over and all the glue would be hidden. I took the beads off of the trim that I had left over to use on the rope that I bought. Then I whipped out that hot glue gun and I got to work. This took me about an hour to do and I did it the day of we had to leave. And that's really all there is to it. You just go ham on whatever design your heart desires. If I had more time, I could have did this better, but I think it still came out cute for what it is. And then to secure it, I just used bobby pins. Now I'm off to make like 15 more.